Hello, this is Vince from Sniper Day Trading, and I want to give you an update on where we stand on the weekly chart, and I'll show you the daily chart as well. So what you're looking at here is a weekly chart of the S&P on top, the middle is the NASDAQ composite, and the bottom is the Dow Jones in the weekly chart. Again, from the very top, October of '07, you can see we started to break down in this area here. We sold off, and then now this move all the way back up represents that 50% retracement exactly to the dot, and that's where we were or are on the S&P, just a couple points over that 50% mark at 1126. And you can see on the NASDAQ, this is the significant thing, and you'll be able to see it a little bit clearer in the daily chart. But notice as I zoom this in, you can see we were holding resistance overhead here, and the green line represented that big downtrend line. But we have a solid breakout to the upside right on this last week. In the S&P, we're just still sitting at resistance, just poking its little head there up just slightly, and the Dow is just pretty much right there as well. But the NASDAQ composite clearly is kind of broken out there. It's very likely with all of the momentum up in the weekly, monthly, weekly, daily, and the 120-minute chart that I look at for long-term direction. Those are all pointing up currently as it stands right now. And again, the Dow resistance, the S&P overhead resistance. Now, this back in January, right at the end of January. This is in my daily blog. One of my blog posts was expecting this market to break down. It did. We were in the 830 level, and then we dropped down to 666, and that was the last flush out before we started the retracement back up. So pretty much everything, the retracement back up is right on target, right on schedule. You could see the blue line. This was the support that we were holding, and then that blue line also then became support, became resistance, 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 and so on. And then you could see the support underneath. And the overhead resistance is where we currently stand. But now that if this can break through, you can see that the blue line still would represent resistance. So if you project that out over the next few weeks, you're looking at maybe 1080 or 1185 or so, maybe as high as 1200. Give it a few weeks if in fact that breakout does happen and occurs. I think if something like that, we do get a spike over the next couple of weeks, it definitely will set the stage for a momentum shift in sentiment. And I believe a lot of people would become much more bullish, and that could set the stage for a pullback, but we'll just have to see how that goes. Let me go to the daily charts. And again, the same thing is true here on the Dow. Same thing is true. It's kind of getting squeezed here a little bit more. There's not quite as much room as you have here in the S&P. But since I'm here, let me just show you this interesting little thing here. The support, this was in the past, the support, then the support gave way, and then now once support gets broken, then becomes resistance. So we were hitting resistance for over a month right in this area here, and we just slightly broke out. But let's just go to daily chart and you just take a look at, you'll see that that's the last few days we kind of broken decisively up, where the S&P is just starting to do that. And I guess the Dow does have some room to run into this line, but not very much. If we run into that blue line, it represents a lot more room as far as trading goes. But let me pause this, and maybe there's something else I can take a look at. Okay, this is a 120-minute chart of the same thing, S&P, NASDAQ, and Dow. You can see we were hitting resistance here several times. We just pushed past that. You'll notice that the support came in pretty much right at the same area several times. Now we're currently pushing a break of that high-end resistance, and you'll notice that on the on the NASDAQ market, we were holding this trajectory with resistance overhead like so, forming a wedge, and in an uptrend, just a consolidation and a breakout. Although a rising wedge in an uptrend, a lot of times you'll see this resolve to the downside, but in this case clearly broke to the upside. The next several days pushed higher.